So today is Chips's first day of his second year of his PhD program, and it's a beautiful September afternoon, and watching him walk out into the sunlight and start the walk to campus today really kind of took my breath away. Not only because I love him so much and I'm so proud and excited that he gets to begin his second year of his PhD program and continue on for something that he really wants to do, and to be able to sculpt and create himself into a fantastic professor and a fantastic historian and researcher, but also because it hit me how far we've come. I mean, the beginning of a new year can make you look forward to the new beginnings, which is really exciting, but it also makes you reflect on the things that have happened in the past. And the older I get, the faster the years seem to go by, but not in a bad way. I actually, whenever I always heard adults talk like that, like, the older I get, the faster the years keep moving, I always thought it was such a sad thing. But now I get it's because my life is so full of adventure, and there's an abundance of things that keep me busy, and people that I love and care about, and things that I feel passionate about, and fulfilling work that I love. And as a result, the year goes by really fast. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in, like most families, you have the beginning of the traditional new year. In our family, we also kind of pay homage to the beginning of the Chinese New Year, and then there's the beginning of the academic school year. So there's lots of times, including your birthday if you want to throw that in there too, to sort of sit and be reflective and look at where you've been and how far you've come and where you want to go. And so today, it just hit me all at once, watching Chips walk out, his backpack, his notes. I sound like a mom seeing her son off to school, but that's not what I mean. Just watching the beginning of another year of our life for an event. For his PhD program is going to guide our future. Once he gets to the end of it, we have all of our fingers crossed that hopefully he'll find a fulfilling career of some type, and that's just all we really want. If he can find a tenure professor track, that would be amazing. He's really good at his field, and he's really good at what he does, and he's going to be fluent in like almost 5 languages by the time this program is over. It's extremely intensive, so there's a good chance he'll find a career that he really wants. And here we are, not thinking about where he should go, not thinking, should he even do the PhD program? Should he move forward on this path? We're already on the path and we're midway in it. We still have anywhere, this is year 2, his program goes for 6 years. So we still have a long way to go on the program. 6 or 7 more years we will be here, and we will be building a life here together, and hopefully year after year building up a whole new future. And that's amazing to me. And it was really amazing to me to realize that I've shared so much of it with you guys. So that's what hit me today, watching him walk off to his program, walk off to the second year of his PhD program. This isn't like the first year where everything was so unknown and we were new to Ann Arbor and new to the university, new to what to expect from his work. Now we know those things. We've been here for a year. We have favorite places to eat, favorite places to walk, favorite neighborhood cats that we get to pet and play with when we go on our walk, and we're familiar with it, and we're familiar with what we're doing. And he was excited about his schedule, and he knows his professors, and now he was the one talking to the incoming class and telling them what to expect. And that was really amazing to me, to realize that we're on this path and that we're doing this. So I think it was so fascinating, because last year, guys, we were just starting, and the year before that, we didn't even know if Chips would go and do his PhD program, and we didn't know what he was going to do. He was trying to figure out if he was going to try to pursue doing a master's in mathematics and computer science instead, and our future was so up in the air. And I was still growing the channel. I think 2 years ago we were maybe 30,000 strong on our main channel, and I was still trying to figure out if that was something we could do, and was still drowning under a huge mountain of student loan debt, and our future was so uncertain. And if you go back even further, guys, to the beginning of our channel, to the beginning of the main channel, and the beginning of this journey together, you guys and I started talking right before I met Chips. You guys and I started telling Sim stories literally just a few months before I met Chips and my life changed and we fell in love very unexpectedly, very suddenly. And the next year you guys were with me when I moved in with Chips, and the next year you guys were with me when we moved out of the Appalachian Mountains down into the foothills of North Carolina, and you guys have been with me through all of this. You have been with me through when Chips was still writing his thesis to where we're at now. You may be with me, I hope you guys are with me, when he becomes a professor or takes a job. We might move to Singapore for all we know. You've been with me when I traveled to the other side of the world, to Taiwan for the first time. And you've been with me since you went on me with the date that I went with Chips to build this living wall. Since the moment I've gotten my birds, you guys have been with me. Actually, it was my 4-year anniversary of having a Twitter account, which is not one of those reflective yearly anniversaries that I recommend people keep an eye out for, but it was on my Twitter and it popped up and it reminded me. So about 4 years ago, a few days ago, I got my birds and I made a Twitter account because they tweet all the time, and I thought, hey, why not get a Twitter account for the tweeting? And now I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed at the growth. I'm amazed at what we've shared. And I am so humbled every day to look around my office and my world and to see a world that's been built by you. A world that's been built by sharing time with you and adventures with you. And we've had 5,000 plus adventures and we've grown so much, and I love that. That's my weakness. That's my weakness in books. That's my weakness in games. That's my weakness in the love I have of the stories people can tell about their lives in the world, is that sense of progress. Watching somebody be able to take on a challenge and grow. And I love that so much. And maybe I love it so much because I have grown so much in the last few years, and it humbles me so much to know I've shared almost all of that with you guys. And when I thought about that and I watched Chips walk off and I looked down, and on the ground were just these acorns all over the place, I picked up some of the acorns and I thought about how these moments are really like seeds. They really are. These moments where it's the beginning of a new year, you don't know what you're going to get out of it. It's really like a little seed. And so for the next few months, Chips is really going to have to dedicate himself to his 2nd year program. And like I said, it's intensive. It sounds really easy when you look back and you're like, yeah, his 1st year went by great. It was fantastic. He had a great time. That sounds so easy, but that's kind of like when you're eating a watermelon that you've grown in your garden. You don't remember having to like mark out the spot you were going to plant it and like till up the ground and fertilize it and plant the seeds and chase off crows and scare away the deer that came to eat it and protect it from frost, and then finally you get to eat the thing you put in your garden. And that's kind of like what his 1st year is like. So when I think about the 2nd year that's coming up, I want to be excited and hopeful about the future, but I also want to remember that today is a seed of the future, and every day, if we want to get really poetic, is a seed of the future. But I picked up these acorns and I'm going to keep them in my room, and I'm going to keep them in my office so that I can remember that it's another step in the journey he and I are taking together to build a beautiful and safe and happy life together. And it's another seed of a new year, and that he's going to be giving so much to making that prosper, so much to making the most out of this year. And not even the most, but just getting through the year is going to be interesting enough. I don't want to forget that. And so you guys know me. I'm very like sensitive to talismans. I like having physical reminders of deep promises I've made to myself, and so I'm going to keep these in here. I'm going to remember that he is going to be working super hard on his seed of this year, and today just feels like a good day to transition back into working super hard on my seed of a new year. And I know I haven't been around a lot lately, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about now too. And it's been a wild ride. reflecting on the whole thing, maybe will help put all of it into context. But it's been a wild ride to get from where we started to here, and so much has changed. So much has changed and continues to change. And I think I am finally getting to a point in my life where I can accept that I'll never be able to really just sort of switch Seri on and get a expected output and be happy and give it to you guys. That I'm a human being and that I am going to continue to constantly change, and what I want and need out of life will constantly change. But that sounds really dramatic. That sounds like something somebody would say right before they drop the bombshell of, and now I'm retiring, or and now we're going to be like a comedy channel or something like that. No. It's okay, Elsie. Nope, that was Pumpkin. I startled her. Sorry, Pumpkin. Now we're going to be a bird channel forever. No. This is just me saying I'm ready to kind of get back into telling our adventures and our stories. The last few months I haven't really been around in our vlog channel, and I haven't really been around on the main channel as much as usual. And just like today is going to be Chips's day to start a new year, I want it to be my day to try to really pull myself back into being Seri and stepping up to the plate, so to speak, for that. Or just, how do I explain this? I got burned out, guys. I got really burned out, and I always thought burnout meant that you don't like what you do, and I've talked about that a lot in previous vlogs. But basically just where I've been the last few months is resting and recovering in ways I didn't know I even needed and couldn't predict, and couldn't tidily tell myself, okay, if you have 2 hours of relaxing reading and go on a nice walk today, you'll be recovered. And maybe it's my nursing background. You want an easy application to the problem. You want to be able to look up a diagnosis of what's going on and give the treatment plan, and boom, everything worked out. And burnout doesn't really work like that. It's the most nebulous, confusing, foggy, impossible to handle, hold, touch, organize, sort, force into place emotional experience I've ever had in my whole life. I have loved and lost and been through crushes and drama and so much, and it hasn't been as confusing as being burned out. But I guess it's been a hard year. It's been a really hard year, and I realized I haven't really shared a lot of that with you guys, and so not only must that be confusing to you, but it made me sad. It made me sad to realize, oh, I don't know if I've really shared how hard the year has been for me with everyone, because maybe that will help some of you in the future, because I fully intend to come up from what has been a very hard year, emotionally and in my family and for the world, to be honest. And I realized that I was sad I haven't shared how difficult this year has been. I haven't shared how confusing it has been to be burned out and to try to get back up and to keep falling back down and to just repeat that process over and over. And I realized I was really sad I haven't shared the struggles, because then when we get back up on our feet and start creating, and I continue to grab the adventures that are happening around me and record them and share them and give them to you guys, so I can try to inject some of that, the seeds of the positivity and the hope and the what could be and the beauty of this world into your guys' day. When I share how beautiful my walks are or how much I love life, it's not because I want to brag, it's because I want to show you guys this is the same place we share. Right now, somewhere in the world, you're there, I'm here, but we exist on the same planet, and I want to be able to share how beautiful it can be with you. And there's something, as I get older, I realize that beauty really is, beauty and goodness in this world are truly accented by being able to also share when things are tough. Not negativity. I don't know if there's really ever a benefit to sharing negativity. The older I get, the more I realize that. I feel like negativity is one of the most opposite effects that you could possibly do. Sharing negativity like purposeful negativity, I feel like is a whole nother thing. So when I say contrast to the beauty and the goodness of life, I don't mean negativity. I mean when things are hard and when it's really difficult. And things have been that way for me this year, and I think that's why I hit so many walls. From the beginning of the year, I mean, I lost my uncle so unexpectedly. I was super sick, and then I lost my uncle, and on my way to my uncle's funeral, I got off the plane, in the car with my sister, we're talking, we're crying, and the phone rings, and they're like, Mom might be dying. Like that was the start to my year, to set the tone. And it's been up and down, and you guys probably remember there have been really amazing things, like going to Hawaii with Chips for the first time, going up to the lakes, the Great Lakes with Chips on that beautiful weekend that we had, and freezing to death, which I still haven't shown you the vlog that's about, and going to my brother's wedding. And there have been a lot of other things, going to Taiwan, like getting my beautiful silver plaque that represents a physical manifestation of our community. It's been a year of really fantastic, great things. Being able to do the Meadow collab with Stacy and finding like what feels like an amazing kindred spirit of animal lovingness in the YouTube gaming world. And it's been an amazing year of highs, but I don't know if I've shared the struggles behind the scenes with you guys enough. What it feels like to watch my mom, you know, you wait for her to get better from the heart attacks, and you wait for her to get better from the strokes, and then accepting that clearly things are never going to be the same anymore. That physically, mentally, parts of my mom that have always been there are gone, and they're still not back, and it's months later, and you're beginning to suspect they'll never return. And having to come to terms with that, and loving a person who is different than the person that you were raised by, and that's because of physical things that changed in their very brain chemistry, and accepting that is a huge thing. I don't think I've ever talked about it to you guys, but that's been going on behind the scenes, you know, and I didn't mean to keep them behind the scenes. Just when it gets into how other people affect your life, just telling you as much as I do about Chips makes me a little nervous for his privacy, you know, and that's happy things. But then like the burnout was so bad, and I didn't know what was coming. And I didn't feel it, and I still don't know. And I think that's the other reason I haven't shared it. I still don't know how it happened. I don't know how to prepare against it again. I don't know yet how to make sure that I don't wear myself out on that level that took away everything from me. I had days where I could just lay in bed and I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't wanting to do that. But the best way that I can still describe burnout, and I've described it to you guys like this before, is when you have two synapses that don't send a signal between each other. For those of you who don't know like your basic brain chemistry, you like have all these nerves and synapses, just to make it super simple. So imagine you have these two parts of your brain, and when they need to make your arm lift, they need to make you speak, they need to make you sing, love, hope, send out signals of hunger to your stomach so that you will go eat, be able to identify color, anything. These two little parts of your brain send out little messages to each other, and they do that through your little synapses. They send out little electrical messages, little chemical messages, and then they work together when that message is sent to make the action happen. And burnout for me is like you still have the desire and the will and the motivation hanging out over here to do all of your creations and to be able to tell all of your stories and to work with your community. And then the physical manifestation of those actions is over here, and they're both looking at each other going, yeah, let's do this. And nothing happens. And nothing happens. And something to send the signal between those things is gone. That's what burnout's like for me. I don't hate what I do. I love what I do. I don't hate my community. I love my community. They have helped build this life I live, and I am eternally going to be grateful to my final days for the most flourishing years of my life, my adult life, has been founded and established, and I have been scooped up and safely put into a life where I have a roof over my head and food in my stomach because of my community. But there's just something missing, and I've almost recovered, and I don't know how I've recovered, but there's just been something missing that let me create. And I'll talk more about creative burnout and how I think I have gotten better and how I'm going to try to avoid it happening again later. But I realized I don't know if I have properly shared that with you without getting negative, without being purposely negative. I don't want to do that. I just want to share when things are hard so that I can contrast it for when things are great, and show anybody else out there who might be going through something hard that every day is a seed, you know? Every day is a seed, and it sounds super cliche and cheesy, but it's true that every day is a seed to change. And I've had lots of seeds that I've planted in my past, and I am beginning to gather the benefits and the fruits of those now, in not being scared, not hating myself, in a loving relationship, in a passionate, adventurous career that I adore with all my heart, in a community I love, and being able to help other people. And those things I'm able to do all because I planted a seed and worked on it. And so it's really hard to think about those things and about new beginnings and hopes and futures if you're struggling and you're going through a hard time right now. And that's why I want to share when the hard times have been around. I've been rambling a lot. It's hard to get back into it. And I meant for this just to be a quick little 10 minutes about thank you guys for being here and for sharing the journey. And Chips is now beginning his PhD program for the 2nd year. And can you believe that? Do you guys remember when he and I were first still dating? Do you remember when we weren't even sure if we would move to Michigan, how that just kind of showed up out of the blue? Do you remember when we were even talking about the possibility of going to Taiwan? And now we've already been, and we're back, and I'm wearing my Lucky Jade cabbage bracelet and my lotus earrings, and we're getting ready to possibly go to Tokyo next year. And that's happening, and it's going by so fast, because it's full of so much adventure and so much challenge and hard times and beautiful times. And I guess I want to talk about those things in another vlog because I've rambled long enough now. But when you remember the high notes, guys, I want you just to know there's been a lot going on behind the scenes. I mean, even just in the last couple weeks with the Hurricane Harvey, my great-grandmother and grandfather's house is gone. They lived in Rockport, and Rockport's gone, more or less. And my great uncle's homes and my great aunt's homes and their retirement homes and their home homes that they raised their children in are devastated. And there's at least 2 or 3 houses that are just gone. And that's been going on behind the scenes, and I haven't shared that with you because then it's also like, well, I live in Michigan and they live in Texas, and does it feel appropriate to share that with you? But it weighs on you mentally, and that affects what I do and what I create and what I share. So I feel like I should share it with you guys. But there have been things like that and challenges, and I'm just really grateful that when I look at those challenges now, I feel strong enough to go, and I'm not going to let that ruin my day. I'm not going to let that stop me from being able to find 3 things to put in my joy journal and share some beauty with you guys. And I just can't wait to share more of all of it with you guys. The rough times and the good times, and I want to get back to sharing it with you guys consistently and constantly, and try to plant my seed now of being there consistently and showing up constantly and sharing even little moments from my day, because I think it's such a beautiful thing to be able to show you guys year after year how I've changed and developed and my life has transformed, because maybe it will inspire some of you guys out there. And like I'm always saying with these vlogs, maybe it would have inspired a younger Seri, and she would have missed out on a lot of suffering if I had figured out much earlier about joy journals, about believing that things can change, about believing that somebody who came from a place that I was in and hated herself so much could have her whole life transform into this amazing, beautiful greenery. And I realized if I don't share more moments with you guys, how are you going to see that growth and progress? How are you going to see what's changed, and how are you going to see the beauty that can be past the struggles? So I'm gonna try to show up more often. Probably not with big long rambles like this, because I'm very busy and I need to stay busy, and I'm healing now. I'm healing out of my burnout stage, and so I want to create and just flow into the joy of creation. So I'm going to be working on creating some adventures for the main channel now, and maybe doing some fun snail mail, and maybe unboxing my nickel box that I finally got from Japan, which is really exciting, and maybe going on a beautiful walk. But whatever it takes. If I ever seem on both our channels to just focus on entirely positive things, that's not a mask, and I just hope I can express that to you guys. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, but it's not like I'm covering it up. I acknowledge the devastation, I acknowledge the tough times, and almost like I feel like almost like a joy warrior sometimes, where I'm like, okay, and guess what? That tree's still beautiful, my birds are still awesome, I'm still surrounded by beautiful gifts from my community, I still have the love of my life, I still have delicious peach tea I can drink, and almost like little like boom 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 punches to a rough time or a tough day, or when my heart really struggles. I want to use joy in the beauty of the world to remember that the tough times aren't the only thing. And I want to be able to progress so that I can look back another year from now and be really proud about everything I shared with you guys, and be really proud about having gotten back up every time I fall down or get a little bit lost. So that's what I wanted to say, I think. I'm such a rambler, oh my gosh. But there we go. So thank you guys for having been there since before we even knew Chips would go to a PhD program. And I'm really excited to see what year 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and maybe 7 is going to be like, and what I will have shared with you guys, and how fast the time will go by, and how much we'll grow together. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.